Yo, welcome to another episode of Beat People Podcast. We got a full show for you today as we talk through, some really important drops from my man Ali Modular and from my man Ali from Ali Modular. We got Chris Roberts on, we got Ken and myself. And today, we teased a little bit about Isu's Trifecta from Ali Modular. And, just this week, I got it in the mail and I have it in my rack. I was going to set up another camera, but I totally didn't remember to set up another camera so I could look at my rack. But trust me, it's in my rack. And I was talking to Ali about it yesterday. And I'm just excited for this new product, and I had fun using it for the couple of days that I used it. And let's get into it, and we're just gonna kind of get started with talking about how Ali Modular and how Ali Modular kind of came into being. I know that Ali and Chris are the hands, feet, eyes, and brains behind the situation, and I think it's really unique how they came together and kind of divided and conquered to do this new fresh module. So with that said, I'm gonna fade away the music right here because it's probably more of a distraction anyway. so welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
what up, y'all?
What up? And Ken,
what's good?
Is it just me? I'm hearing some sort of distortion. Is it me? Maybe I'm
not hearing. It's probably me again.
It doesn't sound like it's you, Ali. I think Corey's old. I think it's his ears.
Yeah. Well, Ken, you missed the whole thing we went through before you got on.
Yeah.
Good. I'm working hard enough. I don't need to troubleshoot your issue.
They said it's clean over there, so actually it's maybe it is me. Oh, people online say it's clean. Hello. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, maybe my cable came a little disconnected. So anyway, kind of getting back to, I'm glad. Thanks, Dub Station Zero and everybody that let us know that it's clean out there. But again, I want to welcome Ali Modular. And, it's kind of weird saying welcome Ali Modular because Ali, you're a regular on the show, but, you and Chris together doing the thing with Isu's Trifecta. Why don't we, before we get into the specifics about the module and all of that stuff, I'd like to know how things came together. What's the inception of Ali Modular?
Well, let's see. I came up with the idea pretty much as I started getting into modular synthesis. I had, built a couple of my own clock dividers and stuff like that. So already had an idea that this is, kind of the direction that I wanted to go in. But fast forward, a couple years later, just working on, some projects and trying to get things done. And I think I actually put a post out on IG about needing some help with something, and Chris reached out and said he would help me. And from then we kind of, developed a relationship, more of a mentor and student relationship, right? Like he's the man at coding and all things in that nature. So, I was kind of absorbing some things, that he was, giving me. And, just I had a module that I was working on, Ogun's Wave Animator. Protos came back for that. Things didn't work out as I imagined or hoped. And, after troubleshooting, it was kind of like, what, let's just go in a different direction. And, I reached out to Chris again and, said, hey, I know the hardware side of things, you're the, you're coding guy. So I was, just shot him my idea like, hey, would you be interested in, kind of being my partner on this and seeing if we can get something going. So Chris, I'll let you take it from there, I guess.
Yeah, and it was for me, it was like a dream come true. I've been writing software for next year. It'll be 40 years of professionally writing software.
Wow, that's incredible. Congratulations.
Thanks. Had the pleasure to work at a ton of different software music companies and hardware companies, and always tinkered and made little projects with, Arduinos and those kind of things. And I fully understand digital hardware, but once you get into the analog side and even just in a digital circuit, getting all the right capacitors and all that stuff in just always seemed a little confusing to me. So yeah, when Ollie reached out, I was just like, yes, that's perfect. This is exactly what I've been hoping for. So yeah, it's been super exciting, and turns out we work really well together.
Obviously.
Yeah,
that's super cool. Well, you know what? Hey, I'm glad that you all were able to kind of find a rhythm with one another and a synergy, man. Because I mean, that's huge. It makes a huge difference, and I can tell by what Isu's Trifecta turned out to be that it's a damn good working relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely have. What is this? Let me kill that. You all definitely have a good working relationship, and I could tell because it's apparent to experience Isu's Trifecta and the beta testing sort of round of things, right?
Say that one more time. It kind of dropped out for me. Sorry.
Oh, did it drop? My bad. Ken, you had a chance to experience Isu's Trifecta and the beta testing round of things, right?
Yeah. It's been, Ollie's kind of smart in the fact that, sorry, I gotta Taco Bell time. Ollie's pretty smart in the fact that like the group of testers, because obviously it's not just me. There was a group of testers in there are all people that I respect in the industry and people that I'm aware of and have even seen live and that sort of thing. So I've been following the feedback as it goes through, and of course providing my feedback as well. And the team's been really quick to assess that feedback, whether or not it makes sense, which is always valid. That's not everything that everybody says makes sense or is going to go in the same direction and that sort of thing. But I'd say the vast majority of the feedback got implemented quickly, and honestly, like surprisingly few amount of bugs on our side, like the testing side. Seeing, I'm sure Chris and Ali would be like, "Oh, we dealt with plenty of that," but the actual, just watching it develop, it's been really nice to see how efficient they work together and get things done. I mean, honestly, even early on, it was really well laid out. Like it's a very it's a very well thought out module. So just the way the UI works and everything it's one of those things where, we've talked before about how it's really annoying when you have a module that does a whole lot of stuff because you have to remember how to do all that stuff. But this one, that the UI, this module does do a ton of stuff, but the UI like kind of walks you through it, which is really useful. So yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, we're again, one of the things we're neither of us are fans of menu diving, and that's a problem when you have a lot of features. Our modulation routing stuff, right? There's 8 CV inputs that you can route to one or more of the parameters, and we've got a setup screen that you use the arrow keys and whatnot to do all that configuration, but it felt really clunky. I'm not sure we got much feedback about that from beta testing, but I know that during the testing, it was something we wanted to try to approach and fix. And so we came up with a nice little button combo and turn a knob from the main screen to do that. So yeah, I think it's good to put the more complex things in the background that you do have to go like a menu dive, but to be performable, having that other stuff up front to get to really quick, so you're not, taken out of the flow.
Yep.
No doubt. So let's I just pulled it up on the screen here. Let's fall back and let's tell folks what because I also think I'm trying to be conscious to, we all know what this is, but let's tell the folks what the product is, Isu's Trifecta, and what's the elevator pitch for the module, and what's it being sold. How would you explain it to somebody that doesn't know about it?
Well, go ahead, Chris. I'll let you explain that.
Yeah, it's 3 serial effects. We got 20 plus effects available, and it came from Ali's basic idea. He said, I want to do something that's like a 3 pedal guitar chain, right? And so and because it's modular, of course, being able to modulate a whole bunch of stuff. So so you can load up, there's 3 slots to load effects in, they feed one into the other, and we've got a clock in to any of the tempo sync stuff, like the delays, and nice to have the HP, instead of having 3 effects modules, right, taking up more HP. Was it? I forget our size.
16
HP.
Yeah. Yep. So we got 16 HP, 3 high quality effects, super amount of modulation. Like any CV can modulate any parameter. Multiple parameters at a time. We got an intuitive UI. We've made this really performative. Also,
hey Ali.
Yep.
I just want to point something out, because the way you guys are describing this is a little bit misleading. So you guys keep saying things like 3 high quality effects, which is not at all true.
It's 3 slots,
it's
right?
It's 3 effects slots, and then a
ton
ton of high quality effects that can go into any one of those slots. So I would say you might want to explain to people kind of like the sections of like what each effect is. So the slots can be arranged however you want, but explain like what kind of effects are in there and how many models of effects are in there at the moment.
Okay, so we have delays, reverbs, modulation, and like pitch shifting type of effects. We have over 23 or 24 effects right now, and we'll be adding more in the future. The best way for me to show you would be here on the camera. So I've got Isu over here, and I've got both screens showing here. So you have 3 effect slots. As you see, as I scroll through the slots, that name gets bigger to show you which one is highlighted, and then you're able to just hit left and right to scroll through the different effects. And as you can see, some of these have axes on them, and that means that would be too much CPU usage. So that one gets taken out.
That's smart. That's actually really smart.
Yeah. So
then you can make the choice too, if you want to swap out one of the other 2, right, that are currently loaded to reduce the CPU usage. You can do that, or you can obviously change the one you just selected. Yeah.
Yep. So
yeah, I'd say what's really cool about that though is the fact that each one of these effects, there's a lot of different modules out there that kind of all use similar effects chips and whatnot, but all of your effects are like, you guys are coding these up custom, so you have a lot of flexibility as far as what type. Like you might have multiple delays, but they each kind of give you something different in them, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Can you explain to us a little bit about that and how, as you're talking about the fact that you have some that, might get X'd out, what would cause that to happen?
Okay, so let's see. Professor X is a...
Oh, that's my joint.
Yeah,
I got lots to say about Professor X later. I'll let you go ahead though.
Cool. So Professor X is one of the higher CPU usage effects. I mean, there's a lot going on in this effect. So that along with Isu Shimmer isn't like a super heavy effect, but that with Professor X is enough for it to like not let you do a lot of the other delays. Seems like my camera
Well,
calmed down.
while you fix that or whatever, but I would just say a shimmer effect in itself is really like multiple effects happening at once. And so
Right.
like that's kind of a processor intensive process period, like
Right.
for any pedal to do or any effect to do. And Chris, we did have a question in here. People were asking about whether it being something like a spin chip or what. Can you talk a little bit about the design of these effects, like where the raw coding of these effects come from?
Yeah, well, two things. One, shout out to Electrosmith and their Daisy Seed, right? That's really enabled us and a lot of people, I think, to get into making
Certainly.
high quality
Here.
rack modules.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so all the processing is done on the Seed, which, you know, technical speak has a STM32 chip in it, blah, 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 right? And to be honest, Ali's done most of the DSP coding, and part of, again, shout out to Electrosmith and their DSP library that they provide. A number of the effects were made easy to begin with, if not completely, you know, using the DSP objects that come with the library. Yeah, and again, shout out to Ali for doing exactly like you said, conceiving of what could make a different type of delay, what kind of parameters we can have in there that differentiate it from the other ones that we have. Yeah.
And you know, one of the things I want to mention here too is what I liken Isu's Trifecta to is, I know you said it's more like or the concept originally was like a three guitar pedal effects chain.
Yep.
But for me, when I think about it, it's conceptually like when I'm working in a DAW for all these years, when I'm working a DAW, the idea of making a chain on any track, right? And there's always slots, and you have your library of effects that you can go into and add to that slot, and then the next one to this slot. And so, like, if you think of it like that for those that use DAWs and have that idea of on any channel or on the master channel, you have these slots that you can load up any of a couple dozen effects. That's what Isu's Trifecta is giving you in Eurorack form. And I think what's dope about that is that, you know, that is translating a workflow that we all are familiar with into a space that we're frequenting that may not have something like that. And there's nothing out there like this that does this the way this does it. And what I found when I was using it the other night for the first time too, I got it this week, took it out the box, threw it in the rack, and navigation was easy, you know, up and down through the slots, side to side through the effects. You know what I'm saying? It was just simple navigation. And even though I didn't crack open a manual, and I probably did on purpose, well, I'm lazy. I don't like reading manuals. But the thing that I found is turning the knobs, you know, they tell you right on the screen exactly what the knob does. And slightly turning it is not going to change it right away, depending on where it's set. But on the screen, on the circle of the parameter, you have a little dot that says, this is where you are right now. You know what I mean? So for me, turning the knob and for it to flash up on the screen to show me exactly what that knob does and show me where the setting is currently, it allowed me to see what it is without changing it. And then I can change it if I wanted to, because it tracks to, you know, once you hit that notch on the parameter.
We call it a chase marker.
Yeah, that chase marker is brilliant, and it's a lot of great feedback immediately. So that's my take on it. Like when I think about what Isu's Trifecta is, and I finally got the name right. I remember I kept saying ISO. So yeah, real dope stuff, man. And I wanted to say about, actually, I'm not gonna say about, y'all tell us about and Ken, I want to know what your most intriguing or favorite effect on it is too. But Ali and Chris, tell us about Professor X. Now, I know you just kind of spoke on it a little bit, but I kind of love the story of Professor X. Like, why is it called Professor X?
Right. So, my favorite delay module is, Strymon Magneto. And I was kind of thinking like, hey, I want to create something that's, as great as this, like its arch nemesis. So, it's called Magneto. So I was like, I'm going to call this Professor X, they're arch enemies. So that was kind of the idea behind the name. And I wanted to create a delay that quickly allows you to get like really rhythmic delays and just be able to change that up. I will try to get this camera back on in a second. I think the battery died, even though I have it plugged in. Like, I don't understand.
All good.
Right for the show, right?
Of course.
But you have on Professor X, you have a couple of settings that aren't on like normal delays. So you have you have your time, and that allows you to adjust your time like normal, right? And if you have a clock source going into the module, then it'll lock to the like a division of that clock source. So you on stream, right? But yeah, so it'll lock to like the normal divisions of a clock source, like a normal delay, but then you have the head configuration. And I took a lot of time figuring out really rhythmic head configurations in a span of 4 seconds for 4 tape heads, right? So you're able to change up the delay time. I guess like the easiest thing would be to hear it, right? Let me put this on. So let's mute that. I got to remember where I'm at because I need to.
Okay.
Let me switch my camera so everybody can see what I'm doing also. So if I change I'm on swing delay right now. So if I go back to the normal even, it'll be a little different. If you can hear the delay tail, it's a little different now. This one's called slow build. And then past all of these different configurations, we have free mode, and you'll hear it goes like totally wide. And it like spreads the delay across the stereo field in this mode. And like just the way I coded it is it spreads the tape heads in like different manners as you go up. So
yeah.
I'll add all of this stuff in.
Yeah. Oh.
Hey, can you push the volume up of the synth a little bit?
Yeah.
Much, much better.
All right, so this is Osiris, Polycinematic, and Oxychoral all together, and I wanted them to fit in the same space. Yeah. So we've got a chorus going here, Professor X, and Isu Shimmer. So I'm going to just stop this real quick, and I want to kind of walk you guys through this. Let's just listen to the dry signal real quick of everything. So this is where we started, right? This is our bass line. And this chorus should actually be a tremolo. So let's set that up. And I'll get my camera back on in a second. Let me just give it a second to
Oh, but this is still dope, even this.
All right. So we got some tremolo. Oops. Then I'll add Professor X in.
Come on.
And then we'll put Isu Shimmer on.
Dreamscapes over here.
Yeah. And I kind of wanted all of those to fit in the same like space, you know what I'm saying? So I ran them all into a quad VCA and then ran them into Isu, and that's kind of what you hear.
Yeah.
And then also have another one I want you guys to hear. So I have this this bass line coming from SV1. Let's mute that. Right. And I kind of wanted to beef this bass line up. So put the chorus on there first.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of gave it a little fatter feeling. And then I just wanted to distort it. So.
Yeah. That's dope.
And the distortion has 4 different modes. So right now we're on Isu. We've got Shango, and it's a little bit different. And then we have O-Gun next, and this is like more aggressive.
And that's all in the same distortion effect?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we have Oshun. And they all have like little different characteristics, but on this one we use an Isu because it's really hairy, and I like that. So, and then I like this, but I wanted to like mold it, so I put a 4-band EQ on, and then it kind of just pulls it in where I need it to be, right? And on the 4-band, we've got the high gain, high mid gain, low gain, and sub gain. And then if you flip over to the alt mode, then you've got the high frequency point, like the point at where you're boosting or cutting, right? So you can just dial in your sound right there. And then when we put everything together here.
Yeah.
Got some Trinity in there, little MPC.
I don't think we're getting the direct audio of it through.
You're not getting direct audio?
I don't think so.
That sounds good though. You could definitely hear the effects though.
Let me I want to try something real quick, and we'll see what happens here.
Yeah.
If it explodes.
If it explodes, who's going to
everybody else? So it's a little dark right now. It's a little dark. I could turn this light on.
Real quick, I know people asking about this being up on Modular Grid. It is up on Modular Grid, but there's a little protocol for us to get listed as a company that we haven't met yet. And so probably shortly after shipping the actual product, we should be live under Ali Modular as well.
Yep.
So I'll set up a second camera in a minute. That'll show the larger network here. But I just wanted to give an example of something. So if you notice, I know it's at an angle here because my cameras are kind of far away.
That's okay. But, it's mysterious and moody.
Yeah. We're going dark and evil. So if you notice right now where it says reverse delay, all the effects right now are off, right? So they all have a line through them, right? And reverse delay is highlighted. You can press the up and down arrows there to highlight which effect. And then left and right will select which effect is in that slot, right? So I can easily, if I just do this, you can see me changing the effects. And it's still not doing anything, right? Because it's muted. Like that effect is just kind of taken out of the processing chain at the moment, right? So all I have to do is hit shift and edit to unmute, right? So that would be here. I'm holding shift and then edit, and you'll see that the line goes away, right?
And you can do that same thing via CV also, just to add that.
Yeah, and on top of that, you can also use this section here. You can rearrange the effects in real time, like just push it up and down, like rearrange the order of the effects. So I just want to give you an example. Let me know if you guys can hear this. Let's try it. Yep. So, all right. So the Hydrosynth is going through it right now, and the Hydrosynth is a lot louder than everything else. That's on purpose so that you can hear the module. Now this is dry, right? But if I unmute just the reverse delay, and then you can hit edit and go inside of the effect, and you can start adjusting it. So I can do like really short time on it, or I can go longer. I can change the feedback. And I can take the effect back out that easily. So it's really easy to kind of just try different things. So like I have a bit crusher up top here, right? So I can hit and then I can bring in the reverb that's down below here. And that reverb has some kind of movement in it. It's nice. And then I can bring that delay back in. And maybe I want to change that reverse delay up to something else.
One thing that I'm getting from this bit of a demo is one thing to keep in mind for the viewers is
so now I have like a tape delay on here.
So the navigation is so easy.
Yeah, that was really important to us.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have an idea there.
Yeah, I think one of the things, both of those demos put those effects in good light because you could really see how those effects transforms whatever it's affecting the signal. But the other thing is the navigation. I can't say enough how intuitive the navigation is, and that's really dope. Let's see. We have a question here.
You went quiet, Ken.
Yeah,
I said you could make sure you take my face off of the main thing here. It looks like
all right, yeah.
I don't need to be the focus.
Right. Ken's like, I'm done.
I'm just well aware of my situation.
Y'all
don't need to be looking at this.
Effects parameters.
What's that?
Was were we hearing something when the display was on the screen?
I'm not sure if he's referring to the input and output meters on the bottom of the screen. That's the only thing. It looks like a histogram display of sorts. But yeah, two little sets of small bars on the bottom there showing your input levels and output levels.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
All right. So here we have input, output, and tempo. So when I hit play on the screen here, you'll see the some more info pop up. So you got your input, your output, and your BPM that pops up. And then we also show you if you're on your main parameters or if you're on alt parameters. So hitting your alt button switches which parameters the 4 knobs here adjust. And then another thing that I wanted to talk to you about yesterday that I forgot to tell you is that you can see all the parameters, Corey, for the given effect by just pressing edit. And that brings up this edit screen here, and you can see what all 4 are. And then on this screen, I know it's kind of hard to see here because of the lighting, but if you hold shift, it shows you the actual value of each of those parameters currently right now. So excuse me, there's a lot of ways to quickly see what you're adjusting, what the current value of that parameter is, and like if you're on alt or main. So you'll see it switches back, and you can clearly see. And also, I wanted to say it makes it easy by holding shift and up or shift down. You can reorder these effects. Of course, my camera goes back out again. But anyways, with shift up and down, you can reorder your effects and just like kind of get an idea of what a reverb would sound like before your delay, or what this effect would sound like before another effect. It allows you to freely and quickly swap up what effect is in what slot. And that everything about that effect is also carried over when you swap slots, as far as like CV modulation routing. So if you have like CV1 routed to delay time and CV2 routed to feedback, CV3 routed to the age, and you swap that slot, then those mappings would follow it to that slot also. And vice versa for the other things,
which is pretty dope. Like that's something that like oftentimes you'd have to like remap that kind of stuff in other things. So it's like that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's been said, but when you mentioned main and alt, again, trying to keep HP down. Originally, we had 12 sliders. Yeah. And we really wanted to, get the HP down. So instead of having a knob per parameter, we have 2 pages of 4 that you swap between main and alt parameters.
Dope. I mean, I think that the layout that's there, like I said, it's intuitive, right? And you got just enough knobs, just enough buttons, and then too having that shift and alt sort of parameter and being able to shift those things around, it gives you everything you need, really.
Yeah.
And I think you all were smart with how you did the layout and just from a use case scenario. And I know, Chris, I'm not sure if you do live performances, but I know Ali does, and I can see that musician performer sort of take on things is in the DNA of the device,
Yeah, I prefer live performance. Recording's fun, but I think I mentioned, this painting I had that was from a live looping festival. I don't have a musical education, and so I stumbled into music by using effects a lot to support things. Delays being an important thing to help non-musicians keep tempo, and stuff like that. So yeah, playability and all is really important to me.
Yeah, and that was definitely a huge part of some things that we included, like preset CV. You're able to change your preset with CV, and I think maybe we should talk about presets and saving a little bit also. So
yeah, definitely, because I mean that's another good thing, because what the key is with a module like this, you have 3 slots and a couple dozen effects on there, and all these parameters with all the effects. I'm sure it's like uber important to have a preset saving sort of system in there, because you want to be able to get back to wherever you were, especially even if you're live performing or whatever, or even if you're a sound designer, you just say, this is my chain for X, this is my chain for this is my chain for that, being able to get back to those. So I think it's a good idea to talk about the preset stuff.
Yeah. So you want to talk about this, Chris?
So
you'll be able to explain it better than me.
So there's 20 presets, user presets, and we're going to supply some number, not a whole big number, but some number of factory presets. And one of the things about the presets and saving the information is when you load a preset from the preset library, it loads into what you might call the active preset or the active state. That is separate from the saved preset, but it's also saved to flash. So any parameter changes you make, after you've changed a parameter, there's a timer that waits to see if you're going to turn knobs some more or not, so you're not ready to flash a whole bunch. But after about 5 seconds, it'll auto save whatever changes you have made into this active state. Then when you turn the module off and turn it back on, that active state gets loaded again. And then from there, you can decide you want to save that active state into the preset library, and you can reload it from there. There's also shift preset is what we call the quick save. So pretty much on any screen, if you've decided you want to save what you currently have into the preset that you loaded it from, it'll save that active preset for you into the preset library.
Dope. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So then I think we'll talk about the the preset switching via CV. So there's a setting that allows you to use the CV8 as a preset switcher via CV. So pretty much when I do live performances, right, I would use voltage block as a voltage state for controlling my effects and what settings they had. Now, I wanted to kind of include this into this module without needing to use something else. So you can send either from your sequencer or whatever voltage source you want. You can send a voltage and it'll select through the presets. And that allows
that has to go through CV input 8. There?
CV input 8, yes.
Okay.
And when that's selected, CV8 is not used for anything else. You can't use that for any like CV modulation for anything else. But that allows me to like say when I switch to the next track, then my CV on that channel changes and my preset changes along with my sequence. So I'm switching my beat and my effect preset switches at the same time. It makes it really easy to have things dialed in and not have to think about it, and a great way to just have different effects chains saved and on the fly pick them with CV. So
dope. But let me ask you about that. I'm curious, when like if you were using your MPC and you had CV coming out and going to CV8 and use that as your preset select, is it like a trigger that's coming at the beginning of the sequence every time? So you got an 8-bar sequence or a 4-bar sequence. Is it triggering that every time, or how do you approach that? Because I used to have this same sort of thing with change of presets, even with MIDI, right? Or somebody would say, "Oh, you could just do it with your MPC and you just set this on the sequence, and when you go to that sequence, it changes the preset." But
yeah,
I gotta be honest, what always confused me is it gonna keep at the beginning of that thing change the preset, or are you typically just sending that pulse once somehow and it changes it so you could then go on with what you're doing?
Well, the way it's set up for us is just a voltage signal. So
okay, cool.
0 volts is preset 1, and 1 volt is preset 20. Dope. So going in between them.
Okay, so you're dividing that in 20 so you could get to the different presets from that.
Right.
Yeah.
So you just send a stagnant voltage to it, and then on the next beat, if the voltage wherever changes, then it goes to the next whatever preset that you want it to. So it doesn't have to step through the next preset, right? You could go from 1 to preset 20 back to preset 7 to preset 3 to 15.
So as long as it sees that voltage coming in 8, it's going to stay on that preset.
Right.
That's dope. That's dope.
And I think the fact that you can also modulate bypass on the slots feeds into that as well. So not only can you load your preset, but you can automate bypassing the effects during the performance in a way that you wanted to.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to say, guys, like when we got on that modular grid conversation, I should have said that it is on modular grid under other unknown. So I did put it up there, but yeah, you can add it to your rack that way.
Yeah, let me throw that up here. And actually, it's worth talking about just to make sure. Where somebody asked if it's on modular grid, and I think you, Chris, had mentioned that there's, because if I remember correctly from doing this with ModBap, is it has to be on the market and selling already before they'll allow you to be on there as like a manufacturer.
Yep.
And so and you know what's funny is what I've noticed is that there was one of my modules that I took a little while to put it up there, that somebody else put it up there for me. Like somebody was just like, you know, I'm putting it up there because I need it in my rack.
Right.
So,
I'll take the picture.
Yeah, exactly. So that just gives everybody an idea of you know, how that thing works, right? So coming here soon, you all have like a regular manufacturer's account or whatever. And
yeah.
But for now, it is up there. Somebody put the link up here. Where'd it go?
And for Digi's question, we'll have the power consumption soon. We're just waiting on that information. I didn't put it up there because I don't know how much power it consumes right now, honestly. You know, production is coming, and once production finishes, we'll have all of that tested, and you know, the specifics of that information will be up within like two weeks or something like that. A couple weeks will be up there.
Complementing all that we're talking about right now too, we just put up a feature overview video on the Ali Modular YouTube channel. So if you want to see me quickly, try to run through everything, just under 15 minutes of me just hitting every little feature and how we get to it.
Dope. And when is it available now for pre-order? And when do you think? You know, I'm sure people want to know when it'll be out there for them to grab.
Yep, it's up for pre-order right now on alimodular.com. Shipping starts early September. We've got 100 modules, and you know, that's all we got. So if you want to get it, grab it now.
Get it.
Let's be specific. Currently, we have 98 modules because two pre-orders.
Yes.
Lots of excitement about it, but I think people want to, spend their money when they're going to get it after they spend it versus waiting for the pre-order. But
yeah. But if you want to grab it now, it is there for pre-order. And thanks for everybody who did pick it up. Your support is appreciated, and so like I said, we start shipping early September, and excited to see how everybody uses it, and when they get it in their hands.
I keep hoping people fall in love with it enough and actually pick up more than one, because like when I see you using two of them, Ollie, there, I'm just like, it's such a it's so many effects, right?
I think from a standpoint of, okay, I'm not just saying this because it's our company, but this is something that I needed and I felt like would be a very good idea, and I think Chris and I were able to execute it at a high level, and with the help of the testers, we have made this into a beast of an effects unit. I think this is a really good module. We're coming in at a really decent price, and I don't think you can't even get a Magneto with one effect for this. So
that's the value proposition, bro. Like, you have to, like, that's one of those things. We were talking about that, and you said that, I was like, that's the key right there. Like, you got Professor X, which, damn, that's a dope effect. Professor X is brilliant, right? It can be a thing of its own on its own. Who knows? Maybe one day it might be, but it can be a thing of its own, and it's in here with a couple dozen other effects. And the idea that it's like the nemesis to something like Magneto, How much is Magneto going for nowadays? Like, is it $500-$600?
Yeah, I think it's $599 still, and
$599, right?
I think the key is that it's a lot more HP too.
Yeah, it's a lot more. It's like 1.5 times the HP probably, or more. And you get, the price on this is $450. You get Professor X and a host of other effects plus 3 slots.
Well, how about I start some drama? Because we don't got a whole lot of time left in the show, so I'm gonna start some drama.
Yeah,
so this is a story that I have not discussed at all before, right? So I can remember when Ali was first talking about this, like before it was developed, like when he was first kind of like talking about what he wanted to do and whatnot. And I was like, okay, I was a little bit confused at first because Performer was out, right? And I was like, and Performer was out, and I don't think Colors was out. I think Hue was. And I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, yo, he's doing an effects chain, right? But Corey's got an effects chain, right? I was like, these gonna be competing products? Like what's going on here, right? So I'm sitting here thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, where's the drama gonna start? Like when's that gonna come to a head? And here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. When I actually saw it, I was like, okay, it's quite different, right? Like as far as how it's laid out. But I was still thinking in my head, okay, like so like Hue and Colors are kind of like effects chains in a way, right? It's a little bit more of a Colors is a little bit more of like a channel strip sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then Performer also does multiple effects at once. Now those effects are set as far as what they are, and the way that they function is very different, right? But I was still thinking in my head, I'm like, yo, these two about to go head to head, like in the marketplace. Like, what's this going to be like, right? Listen, man. East Coast drama, like ready to fight.
East Coast drama.
Corey knows how protective I get when it comes to friends, but now I got 2 friends that are like doing compete. So Corey's seen me at my ridiculousness, so he knows how my brain works when it comes to this kind of thing, right?
Yeah, that Ken is definitely let me at him about his friends.
But now I'm like, yo, but like, it's all fam. So like, what's going on here? So I just kind of laid it and cut, didn't say nothing about it. I'm just like watching. But then when I got to actually like see how it's laid out, how it functions, and what they're doing, it's so funny because like you might be in the marketplace looking at these things and being like, okay, well, like here's effects module, here's effects module, here's effects module. Okay, what effects can I buy that do more than one effect, right? So then I start looking at like Erica Synth's DSP, Black DSP. You got like Effects Aid. There's a few different out there that are multi effects. But then there's very few that do multiple effects at once, right? That's really limited amount of effects out there that do that. And then there's way fewer that will let you do multiple effects and then select between those effects and then reorder those effects however you want, and then save presets of those effects and then save your mappings of all those effects. Like, and I'm like, okay, like these things are actually extremely different as far as like the mindset and the workflow and like what they do in a case, right? And I'm like, yeah, they actually complement each other in a nice way.
I think so.
I would say performance wise, which I feel like Trifecta is dope in the fact that like, so you have these preset changes that can happen over CV and all that kind of stuff, right? It's very much suited to studio usage in that way, like where you can have an entire song and you can be switching your effect for like, here's your breakdown, right? Here's your chorus, get back to the verse. You can have these changes that go along with it, like patch changes in a synth and that sort of thing, and really go along right with that. But a lot of the testing that I was doing is I love like tape delays and rhythm style delays. Like I love playing with feedback on delays and doing performance controls on it. And it works really, really well in that way because of the feedback on the screen showing where your knobs are. So like as you switch between different effects, you know, obviously you've got your knob position is here, but like you switch to a different effect, and digitally, you know, where your parameter set at, your knob might actually be here, even though the physical knob is here, but on the screen, it'll show you that. And you can set it up to be like pass through or whatever. Like you can just get through it. And yeah, I would just say, like, as far as setting this stuff up and using it in a performance scenario, very different from something like Performer, but both like have really unique workflows that are really intuitive to use. So yeah,
I can definitely tell
behind the scenes was me just like sitting here like,
you over there reeling.
When are these two going to go at it?
And I think early on I shared my ideas with Corey. It was
yeah, for
early
sure, because like this was all like we're in a group chat, like all of us, and like we talk back and forth often. So it was like it's not like spite, but at the same time, it's like I've been in crews where like, yo, I seen the whole like, yo, he flipped the sample I flipped. Like,
it's nothing but I'll tell you from my perspective, it's definitely nothing but love. I never even thought like, oh, this is going to be a problem for a performer or anything, because you know what happens is I know what he's building is something unique onto itself. And the way it is, you know, it's a multi-effect unit where you can stack in slots and all of that. And, you know, it could be studio type usage, performance type usage. But the fact is it's an effects chain that can be used in a really compositional sort of way, right? And sound design sort of way. Whereas Performer is, just as it says, performance effects, like you're touching, you're real time pressing those buttons to get the effects and doing the different things. And like for me, I'll tell you, just in the way I have it in my rack right now, like Isu's Trifecta is connected to my mixer, while the end of chain is colors and Performer. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of get my melodic stuff is going through Trifecta, and then at the end of the chain, I could kind of channel strip everything, boost the signal, and all that stuff with
man,
colors.
Corey, I've been struggling with that aspect of it, because the thing is like there's so many different styles of effects in it. It's like sometimes I'm like, man, I need to send this break through it. Like in my rack, right?
You need two of them.
So in my rack, so you'll see the so there's like the L6. I'm trying to use my hand, but you can't see it. So like here's the L6, but like Trifecta is like right before it. It's right here, which means so it's, if you look at the way my setup is, it's front and center right now, right? So it's like that's the first thing that I can get to. And the point of that is and it's also right next to the mixer. Like I'm using the L6 as like kind of final output mixing. I do a bunch of sub mixing in there, but that way I can quickly and easily be tweaking that thing on the fly. But like up in the rack, I've got Performer up in there. I've got a bunch of other mod bap stuff up in there. But the point is that I struggle between, okay, am I going to be sending breaks from my ER301? Like I'll chop up samples and stuff and send that through it. Or am I going to be processing something like the Hydrosynth or one of my modular voices through it? There's so much different, like there's so many different vibes that you can do with it. That it makes you start getting real gluttonous real fast, where you're just like, man, I need to.
Well, imagine this too, Ken. Imagine this. Let me put it back on the multiple. But imagine, you know, it was not long ago, 5, 6, 7 years, where effects were few and far in between. To come to a place like this where there are, you know, a handful of good effects with different use cases out there, and then to have Trifecta into the chat, like
it's definitely got its own character too, because like when you start doing things like crush tone, for instance, right? Crush tone, I've got so many different bit crushers and stuff in my rack, and ways of doing bit crushers, like non-traditional bit crushers, all that kind of stuff. I love making things dirty. I think we all do. Like there's something about getting you know, grit into your sound in a way that is pleasing to you and speaks to you. And what's great about this one is the way that you can blend it in is really useful. And it's, you know, going back to the whole mod bap thing, because like you've got different bit crushers in yours as well. and they each have a very different character. Like the way that they sound on samples or the way that they sound on a synth voice, very, very different. And super useful though. So like
Mm-hmm.
there's an EQ in Isu's Trifecta as well, right? So I like to send the crush tone into an EQ, and then you can shape it even further. So you can get really and there's filters in there too. There's like ladder filters and everything, so that you can really kind of like fine tune what aspects, like what frequency bands and whatnot you're going to be crushing and
you're
playing
trying to
with
get
on it.
into.
And it's
I
it's super
think
flexible
Ali
when you start
did.
chaining on
Ali,
thinking ahead of like, okay, this is what I want to be affecting and how I want to do it. You think ahead a little bit on that, and then still have like another effect after it to like send some reverb to it, whatever.
Dope. I think
Saves so much
Ali's
space.
demo did a good job of demonstrating. Like you had your melodic stuff going on, but then when you went to the bass, right? Like I love the effects chain you put on the bass. What was it? Chorus, distortion, and then
Isu's 4-band EQ.
Yeah, and then the EQ. That's what made me think of it, because Ken was talking about the EQ. But I mean, that's a lot of flexibility. Like you really can sculpture with this thing. You know what I mean? And that's super dope. That's super dope. I just don't know that we've had things like that in a format like this. You know what I'm saying?
One of the other things we didn't mention, we've got the 8 CVs, but there's also an envelope follower in it that you can assign in the modulation routing as well. So that's something I really love to do when Ken was talking about distortion, right? I like to put the envelope follower on one of those parameters, so when it gets louder, it really gets crunchy.
Distorting. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. And it all works really easy
in there too, right?
Yep. Got a compressor in there, and you can use it as a hard limiter also. Also, to answer Derek's question, we will definitely be releasing more effects in the future. We've got some in the works already. And there are some memory constraints possibly, but we've built in enough space for us to add in a good number of effects in the foreseeable future. So,
and I've got two really, I think, interesting performance features that are going to be in the 2.0 release, right? So we'll make the release, we'll make some point releases following, shipping and whatnot, and eventually we'll do a 2.0 release. Should I mention what they are, Ollie?
No. Don't do that. I don't think you should.
So one of them is moving the functionality of the modulation routing to the knobs, so that you have meta knobs. So us being able to assign any parameter to one of the 4 knobs with the 2 pages as well, so that you could say, I want to control frequency of slot 1 on knob 1. I want to control time for slot 2 on knob 2. So you can kind of set up this meta thing to really work quickly with. And that one I already know how it's going to work pretty easily. The other one that I think is going to come in as well is adding scenes to each preset, so that you have the same effects but different sets of parameters for those effects, so that being able to do a crossfade between those parameters. So select scene 1, select scene 2, and the parameters will crossfade into scene 2. So again, very performative kind of stuff. So
yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Well, I think it's dope that y'all got planned stuff even for the next iteration of the firmware, and that there's a lot of really dope features coming, right? So that makes this is like gonna be like, it's a platform, really. You know what I mean? You are building an effects platform, and I think it's a lot more dope stuff to come, obviously, from what y'all saying. And listen, for folks out there, like we CV dope, I'm gonna throw this up there because that is crazy.
Hey, real quick, I want to say just another couple of quick unique things about this that in the market space of like pedals and whatnot that you really don't even see. So like a trend in pedals, especially like a couple of years ago, was dual reverbs, right? So you would have, you know, in the pedal, you're going to have one reverb and then another slightly different type of reverb, right?
Mhm.
What's cool about this is because you got 3 effects slots, you can do like staging where it's like maybe you're not sure which effect you want to use. You know you want to use a delay or you know you want to use a reverb. But you're not sure which one you want to use. So you can do stuff like this. I'm gonna show you this real quick. So if I'm going to try to mute everything. So if you hear this, can you hear this okay?
Yep.
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 All right. So right now I have just one reverb on, which is Isus verb, right? And if I mute that, here's dry. And then I can just go down and maybe I want to try out the shimmer, Isus shimmer. All right. Maybe I want to try out shimmer storm. And they're each extremely different reverbs. And then I'm like, well, maybe I want to chain 2 of them. Or maybe 3. So you can have all 3 reverbs going at once.
Yeah.
And you can rearrange them however you want.
And then, I mean, that's really making like your custom design and a reverb at that point. You could save it as a preset.
Right. And that was one of my main things. I wanted to make it. Okay. So maybe I should say this. I had a Zoya, right?
Mhm.
And it was really freaking cool. But I had to design a freaking delay chain every time I wanted to make a new effect. I had to like totally design it.
It
Like
was too granular.
It
like
was
too.
Yeah, it's too much. Like you had to spend another hour just designing the delay that you wanted, right? And then with this, I wanted to have that same kind of modularity to be able to use the effects that are here to design something different also. So the combination becomes something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that was really important for me too. Yeah.
That's dope. And I feel that. I definitely feel that. That's kind of like a thought that I had with Trinity when I did the stack modes. The idea that you know you have those different drum synth algos in there, but you could use the stack modes to, you know, stack the different flavors. I heard, and I'll show nobody mentions Teddy Riley in these things like this, but he did a video one time where he was saying like, you know, back in the day, the key to my sound was that I had my snare was like, there was a low part, then I would stack like a middle part for the body of the thing, then I would stack a high part for the shimmer of the thing, and it was a snare that just cracked. And that kind of idea, it's really sound design, and it's that same principle. And so yeah, that's dope, because then people can kind of, you know, they have this tool that they can then create their own effects chain and their own sound. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really, when you think about cats that have effects pedals and pedal boards, you know, they have their signal chain, and if they're really dope, they have a signature sound because of it. And that's what you've effectively created with this effect. And that's dope. That's real dope.
Thanks, man.
And I don't want to overpromise, but another thing that I think we'd like to add is preset archiving and reloading over USB. So currently you can do 20, but yeah, it'd be nice to be able to grab somebody else's presets and not have to manually try to get all the parameters in. But you know, we're thinking a little 2 HP daughter thing that's got the USB on front of it, right? So you got access to the USB port easily, and then a piece of software to send and receive preset stuff.
Dope.
I'm cheating on mine, man. I got if you look right here, the side of my case is actually open, and there's a USB cable.
That's how I have mine too.
That's little beta tester insight.
Yeah. Dope. Well, hey, one last round before we get out of here. We're at about an hour and 10. I want to thank everybody for coming by, and shout out to Ali and Chris for developing a dope product, and about to drop it on y'all. And so you can get that at alimodular.com. It's available for pre-order. You know, get them while you can get them.
Are you selling them in distributors too?
Yes. So the Perfect Circuit will have some,
Word.
and we're trying to get to Europe and UK stores currently. So you know, we should have that taken care of before shipping starts. So
Yeah, all this business stuff has been interesting, right? We finished up the technical stuff, and all of a sudden we're like,
yeah,
oh, we got to do all this other stuff we got to learn about.
yeah,
You know what you know what it's like? It's like when you know, in a video game, like it's almost like you complete one level, and then this other door opens up. You got to go through there, and there's all new monsters and all new challenges that you got to defeat to get through to the next level. It's definitely like that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Any last words from you guys before we jump out of here? Again, I want to firstly say, you know, dope work, and I'm excited for folks to get this in their rack. I'm excited that I finally have it in my rack, and this is a proto. I'm gonna buy an actual production unit. You know what I'm saying? One to show support and to have one of my own. And so, yo, go ahead and if there's anything else you all want to say before we get out of here.
We got a handful of other ideas, right? We kind of picked this one as it seemed simplest. But yeah, we're excited, you know, down the road to be delivering you guys some other interesting stuff.
Yep.
I love the mindset of, oh yeah, like 24 effects. Yeah, that's simple. Like,
yeah. You know how it is when you're in that ideation phase, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I know how that can go. Yo, so Ken, anything before we get out of here?
I'm working. Just know.
Back to
I've been
work.
quiet because I've been working.
Yeah. Yeah, just, you know, thanks for you know, having us go over this. We're excited to, you know, get this out to everyone and, you know, see how you guys use it and, you know, have it in your rigs to play with. So yeah.
Word. So yeah, and on that note, yo, I want to give a shout out to everybody for stopping through, and make sure to go and subscribe to Ali Modular YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe here on this show, and make sure y'all go over to alimodular.com and cop that module. Now's the time. Don't delay. You might miss out.
Right.
All right. Peace, y'all.
All right, guys.
Yeah.